What's up? What's up? Happy Friday. Welcome back to another Shit Talk Fridays. I'm Gina.
And I'm Evo. And thank you once again for joining us on this beautiful Friday. Hope you enjoyed the beautiful weather that we had today. It was amazing. I walked outside and I was just like, wow.
It's about to be summertime. So cheers to that.
Cheers. I had to get the chat up.
And Felix, welcome to the stream. Edgar, welcome to the stream. We appreciate you. Happy Friday again.
Señoras y señores, Latinos del mundo.
Ya tú sabes. That's like the only Spanish I know. Thank you very much. Wrote a song about it. Like to hear it. Here it go. So tonight we'll be talking about some of the new music that has just recently been released, which I'm very excited to talk about. Starting off with our man, or my man rather, JCOLE. And then later on talking about Nicki Minaj's new music. And Frank, welcome to the stream.
Yeah. What up, Frank?
But before we get into the music that we're talking about tonight, I want to start off the night talking about none other than Jennifer Lopez.
J-Lo. I do any. Oh, that's. I'm thinking. I forsake.
She did play Selena, but no.
That's why I got it twisted. We do anything for Selena.
We do anything for Selena. Déjalo, please.
All right.
Okay. So the reason why I wanted to start off the night talking about J-Lo was because on the live, like, I don't know, I think like 4 lives ago. I don't know. I'd be losing track. But a couple lives ago, I spoke about me wanting Jennifer Lopez to be back with Ben Affleck. And I'm not even saying like them being like a couple, you know, whatever. But I was just like, yo, J-Lo, holla at your boy. And, yo, I must have put that shit into fruition because J-Lo was vacationing it up with Ben Affleck in Montana the other day.
You know what, though? I can see that. I can totally see that happening because it seems like the influence that she had on him when they were together, it was always going to be a situation where she would probably, at any given point in time, be able to come back into his life.
Well, she said in an interview, a different time, a different possibility. And hello, he did give her a 6.2 pink carat diamond. So
I mean, apparently that wasn't enough at the time to keep it together. So, but I just think that
I'm not saying about them keeping it together. I'm just saying that, like, you know, when you give a woman that size of a rock, then, you know, that says a lot, because he gave his wife after that, Jennifer, he gave her a significantly smaller.
I mean, I guess obviously he just realized that the rock is not what does it.
No, you're definitely right about that. But anyway,
maybe another type of rock. But.
Yeah. Oh man, Evo already going sideways. We did not come here to talk about her tonight. I just wanted to start off and say that I said it on the live and that shit happened. So
I mean, she had them all out of character. So, you know, if she comes when that phone rings, of course she's gonna pick it up.
And Stephanie, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
What's up, Stephanie?
And then Frank says, I came ready to talk about this. LOL, J-Lo is a legend and not for singing. Yeah, right? She's like Thanos. She get all the rings.
Yo, for real. Right?
Benefit Part 2. Exactly, Edgar. But actually tonight what we're going to be talking about is none other than JCOLE. And if you do not know, I don't know where you've been, maybe under a rock, but JCOLE dropped, well, you know what, JCOLE kind of sounds similar. JCOLE dropped his latest album, The Off Season, last night at 12 o'clock, and my old fuddy-duddy ass, I tried to stay up to at least listen to at least 1 or 2 songs, but I did not make it. And Nicki Minaj also dropped new music last night. She re-released her original mixtape, Beam Me Up Scotty, with 3 new songs, and she also dropped it last night, and she went live last night at 11 o'clock. I also didn't make it to 11 o'clock, so that gives you a little idea of, like, I did not make it past 10 o'clock last night.
You know what it is, because we're up so early.
Yes.
So, you know, it's kind of hard to just stay up and be sitting on a couch or whatever, not really doing that unless we were out and about, you know, kind of like mingling it up, drinking and stuff like that. But
true. And Stephanie, thank you so much. She says that the emerald green is working. Thank you so much.
It's amazing.
You know, funny story about this color. Evo and I on our second date, I wore this a very similar color and very similar eye makeup.
Wow, really? We're gonna do that right now?
Yeah, we're gonna do that right now. And on our date, it was kind of cold, so like I had a jacket on for most of the date. And
your jacket was like blue or something.
No,
like
my
that.
jacket was black.
Black? No. Yeah. All right. Fine. We're not,
Thank you. Please don't tell me what color my own clothing was.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, my jacket was black, and we were in a restaurant eating, and I still kind of had it buttoned up, so you couldn't see the shirt that I had on.
You had it like that the whole night.
Yeah, and then Evil was like, I just don't really understand like why you have that color eyeshadow on. And as the woman that I am, I immediately was like, "Equi me." And then I unbuttoned my jacket, and then you could see that my shirt and my eye makeup match. And Eva was like, "Oh," but just real talk, he shouldn't have said nothing. But you live and you learn.
Hey, listen, I'm here, aren't I? There's something, right?
Yes, you did. I don't take that type of stuff to the butthole. So J. Cole dropped his new album, The Off Season, and we were also able to see his documentary, which I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. And it's called Applying Pressure, The Off Season. And it's like a 12 or 13 minute documentary. And it gives you a little inside story into the development of this current album and why it's called The Off Season and why J. Cole took as many years as he did off from making music. And it basically is just him telling his story about how he kind of had to refocus.
Right.
Because especially with the pandemic, he got real comfortable in his routine. He got real comfortable in what he was doing. So he really had to kind of like tap back into potentially the J. Cole that he used to be at the beginning of his rap career. I just want to read a comment real quick. So Frank says, J-Lo and Ben Affleck are using this to generate positive news about themselves the same way she did with A-Rod. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. Whether it's to generate positive or negative news, I still want them together. But anyway, so J. Cole, he drops this album. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to any of the tracks, Evo and I have done that for you. I want to say we listened to the album already twice today. There's one song in particular on the album that immediately jumped out to me for a multitude of reasons. Number one is just the overall vibe of the song is amazing. And the track that I'm referring to is track number 3, which is My Life. And the biggest part of the song that really blew my mind was he's featuring 21 Savage on the song. J. Cole's last 3 albums have not had any features. Right. And like that's kind of like a joke. J. Cole went platinum, no features. Like that's been the thing. So on this album he has one feature, which typical. Is 21. Well, it's not. That's not his MO at all.
It's just not typical for an artist, to go platinum with no features.
Yeah, I would probably say so. I would probably say that a lot of artists would have someone featured on their album. Yeah, but J. Cole has done a very good job of releasing albums that are quality work with no features. I will say this live though. His last album, KOD, it wasn't one of my favorites. I would say that KOD was a good piece of work. I wouldn't consider it a great piece of work from J. Cole. And that's not dissing him in any way, because I can't even imagine what it's like to put out that level of music. Because I feel like J. Cole really puts his passion into his work.
Not only that, I mean, he's a great, so like to constantly produce greatness can't be easy.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. And currently we have 7 people on the stream with us. So if you're enjoying us currently, please go ahead and tap that like button. It really helps us out. So interestingly enough, J. Cole dropped this album. And if you're also not aware, J. Cole has just recently signed with the Rwanda Patriots, which is a basketball team out of Rwanda, which is in Africa. If you're not familiar, J. Cole is set to play basketball with the Rwanda Patriots this coming Sunday. And if you don't know any backstory about J. Cole, he actually used to play for Sanford in North Carolina, and he was a walk-on for St. John's. And basketball was actually his original passion. That's what he wanted to do, but then decided to pursue music, but it's always been a love of his. So he's going to now live out his love. So I wonder, with the upcoming album that he has, and we have a photo, J. Cole previously released this photo here, and I want you to take a look at it. So if you see, it says the off season, then it says It's a Boy, and then it says the Fall Off. Now, with those two listings right under the off season, I believe that J. Cole is implying that he's going to give us 2 more albums. I don't know what over what course of time. And the last album is called The Fall Off.
It seems like maybe the It's a Boy, maybe the album may be dedicated to his boys. And that whole time, that whole part of his life when he had kids.
It's listen, anything is possible. I think J. Cole is, again, very passionate about what he gives. So if he's going to give something, it's going to be a story in a whole.
Yeah, I could see that.
So with that being said, if you get a chance to watch the documentary, J. Cole makes a couple comments that would imply that he potentially, after these next 2 albums, is going to retire. So we just got this album from J. Cole after 3 years, 3 years after KOD. So let's give J. Cole the time frame of an additional 6 to 10 years to give us another 2 albums.
Right.
J. Cole will then be 46 because he's 36 now. Do you think that J. Cole will then retire?
I think that it's a good chance. I mean, how long can you keep doing the same thing and putting out bodies of work without some point, like, personally growing into something else? Like, I mean, in your career, you grow in your career. If you're working a job and you kind of like make your way up, the company and get promoted into different positions and take on different responsibilities. I feel like as an artist, you grow as a person, but day in and day out, you're doing the same thing pretty much, as far as like writing, working with producers, dealing with record companies and lawyers and meetings and A&Rs and things like that. And after doing it for so many years, I think at some point you may want something different in your life.
Well, I think he's already set foot into that.
Right.
Thus playing basketball.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, of course I could see after another 10 years after doing it for so long and having such a successful career, why wouldn't J. Cole just, like bow out gracefully?
So this is my personal feeling. I feel like a lot of the greats like to say shit like this.
Oh, yeah.
They like to say that they're going to fucking retire. How many times did Jay-Z say he was going to retire?
He announced his retirements more times than I can count.
So that being said, I feel like the greats say this kind of stuff, but it's in them. There's something about the music that is never going to let them stop. And I had this conversation with my son Mateo the other day about working and having a job, and I said to him, I'm always going to want to do makeup. I said, because it's not a job, it's my career, it's my passion, it's my love. And I feel that that's the way that he feels about music. Maybe he won't push out albums every so often, but I don't think that J. Cole is ever going to be able to walk away from music completely.
Not being as nice as he is,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel like you can just walk away from that.
Take who surprised me when I heard them rapping after many years of them not putting out any music, was Method Man.
Yeah.
And you could tell, the way he was rhyming, you could tell that he still writes. Him and Redman. So I just think that,
Redman's a little chaotic though.
Yes, but they still write. They still make. It's something it's part of who they are.
Yes.
And it seems like that it never dies. So I don't ever see J. Cole ever like never rapping or writing again or making songs. I just think that career wise and his appearance, his social appearance, he may want to like be perceived as something different at some point. Instead of people always expecting, like new music,
new one. And if you don't know where that little joke is from, new one, that's from when Evo used to work in the city, and the people used to come and selling the bootleg DVDs, and the lady would come in and she would like, I got new one.
That's all she knew how to say, pretty much.
Yeah, that's when we used to buy like bootleg movies before
I used to come home with at least like 10 of those a week.
Yeah, so many movies that we saw.
I remember when we had that garage sale.
Yeah, and we sold them for $1.
We had
those things went like hotcakes.
We had a neighborhood garage sale, and our neighbors thought they were like big shots by like bringing out all this stuff, and they like priced their stuff kind of high. Like they were like really trying to bank money. I'm trying to get rid of this stuff.
For real.
All my stuff was priced to sell, and I mean I must have had like easily, Gina, like 300 DVDs.
Listen, I don't know.
And
I know we got rid of all of them.
The funny thing was I had them for $4, right? One for 50 cents. And $4, right? If you took four for $1, three people came and bought the deal, and I felt like they started making phone calls because not so long after that, cars just started rolling up, and they were like, "Where are the DVDs at?" People were just asking, "Where are the DVDs at?" And the neighbors were getting jealous because they couldn't believe how many people were coming and buying stuff off of us. Meanwhile, they were like still sitting on their stuff because their prices were so high. I was practically giving my stuff away. I did not want to bring any of it back.
People was giving away them shits for free.
Hey, listen, man. It's got to go.
So there was something that J. Cole said in the documentary that he said in the documentary that we saw on YouTube that I found really interesting, and I feel like it's a quote that you can really apply to any part of your life, and it's something that I think made me really think about what I'm doing with my craft and my career. And the quote, what he said was, passion for the craft can be replaced with comfort and luxury. And what I'm assuming he meant by that is that when you're a rapper or you're an artist of any sort, when you start to make it, you can then become very comfortable with the luxury that you're living in. Thus, you don't really push for your passion.
Right. Well, he also said comfort is the enemy.
Yeah. So I wonder, what do you think it is about J. Cole? And I asked the audience this as well. What do you think it is about J. Cole or artists that are considered GOATs? Because I think the GOATs, they do this. What gives them, what sets them apart? Like, what makes them recognize this? What makes them continue to push past that comfort? Because I think J. Cole, when he said in the documentary that comfort is what? Comfort is your enemy. That comfort is the enemy. And I think that he's making a point to say that he's known other rappers to fall victim to that. So what do you think it is about him, someone like Jay-Z, someone like Kendrick, someone like, I'm trying to think of like some of the older raps, someone like Eminem, that they're still putting out music and they're still pushing for that passion. What do you think sets them apart? I wonder what it is.
I can't say for sure what it is because I'm not in their shoes, but if I had to take a
stab at it, please, and join us in this.
I would definitely think that it's their ability to not lose touch with who they are. It's their ability to always, remember where they came from and never let their material things and their success affect the person that got them there to begin with, and also being able to evolve that person throughout time so that they put out new and better music throughout time, because I think a lot of these rappers, what happens is that they get caught up in the fame and the money, and it's a level of achievement that they were able to acquire, and it feels like it's like once they got there, it almost felt like, okay, I'm here now, I don't have to work no more. Yeah. And so I think that's a big part of why J. Cole lives his life the way that he does, very minimal. And, you don't see him flashing a lot of stuff and things like that because he did that and he saw that it was kind of like, it was like changing him as a person. It
wasn't allowing him to be the J. Cole that he truly was.
Right.
So I think what you're saying is something that I've really been diving into lately, which is self-awareness. They have a sense of self-awareness that is heightened. Yeah. And I consider self-awareness to be probably one of the hardest things to really identify. Even though we are ourself, to know yourself is not the easiest thing, because it's very easy to be manipulated or brought down an avenue that you yourself, you would think that you, like, you know, how many times have you said, oh, I would never do that, and then you find yourself doing it? And I think you have to be very self-aware to just be like, no, that's not for me.
Or remember that you said that you would never.
Yes,
do that.
or remember, and like have the strength to not do those certain type of things. And so I completely agree with you in saying that to be self-aware is what really will set an artist apart. So I want to read some comments. So Stephanie says, I think any artists separate themselves by breaking the rules and being themselves. So it's again, it's about self-awareness. And Joseph says, and Joseph, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Joseph?
Wait, hold on a second. Let me read this. But I work a sweat for this worthless check bout to burst this tech at somebody to reverse this debt minimum wage. Got my adrenaline cage full of venom and rage. M lyric, that's fact. Okay.
That sounds like Eminem.
Well, he said M lyric, that's a fact.
Oh, M lyric. Okay, yeah.
So the way that Joseph is the fact that Joseph wrote that, again, it goes to say that, like, they're pushing for something regardless of what's like being put in front of them. So, like, you know, you have all these things, like when you become an artist and you become wealthy, you got these things that are put in front of you that can really divert you from what it is that you really want,
right,
in life. Because what they really wanted to be when they started out rapping was to become a rapper. It wasn't necessarily about the fame. It was about to be able to put their art out there. To
be able to put their art out there, and obviously to achieve some level of success so that they could be able to provide for them and their families.
Well, what families? Because J. Cole, when he got into the industry, it was just him and his mom.
A lot of them are, you know, that's the main driver, the mother.
Yeah, true. That is very true.
Know, or if they have a daughter, you know, or they have a son,
a child. Period. Yeah. Yes. So, I was just wondering, like, what your thoughts were on that, because honestly, when I think about that, I think about that's what makes people successful. Like, I don't even, like, because I don't always deem success as like making it, but I do think it makes them successful in their genre. That ability to be self-aware and to say, you know, I'm not going to let these temptations change the person that I really am, because I came into this game to rap, to be a rapper, to be an entertainer, to put out music. And I think J. Cole's always going to be that person. And I think he figured that very early on. And I even just recently saw an interview with Eminem where he talks about, like, he doesn't even like to spend money. And this guy's a millionaire. He just knows that that's not what it's about for him. And I feel the same way about J. Cole, and I think that he's going to be with us for a very long time. I think he may retire from pushing out albums, but I don't think he's going to retire as an artist. Nah. And that's my personal opinion. But am I excited to see this man play basketball on Sunday? I got to figure out how I could watch this, because it's on the BBC. So, Eva, you need to be able to work something out. You need to figure that out for me. So Joseph says, I think the art is everything when it comes to hip hop, because it's how we grew up. It's what we see and what we lived. I would totally agree with that. And I think that if you haven't heard J. Cole's new album, do yourself a favor. And after this live is over,
straight fire.
No skips.
Straight fire, no skips.
1 through 12.
Banger after banger after banger.
And, like, his lyrical ability still to this day gives me fucking goosebumps.
Yeah. And he even spits out, like, new flow.
Yes.
Flow that you never heard before.
Yes.
Which I think is great. So yeah, good album. 5 stars.
Yeah. 5 stars?
5 stars.
10 out of 10. Shit's gonna go platinum with one feature. But I'm gonna bring something real quick to the forefront before we move on. And it's an argument that Evo and I had earlier today.
Oh, yes.
Please, and since we have some hip hop fans on here, we have Frank, we have Joseph, we have Edgar.
Let's talk about it.
We're going to talk about it real quick. And I'm only going to give us 5 minutes to talk
about it. A song about it. Like to hear it? Here we go.
5 minutes to talk about
I
this.
don't know if there's going 5 minutes. Might not cut it.
So the first song that opens up J. Cole's new album has a beat that was used by the rapper Cameron. Cameron is not rapping on the song, but he's doing like a little bit of a hook, kind of, sort of.
Not really.
Not even a hook.
He's kind of like ad-libbing a little bit.
Yeah.
Going killer. And, you know, he's able to say Killer Cam season and talk about Harlem, you know, and he's just kind of like being like a little bit of like a hype man on the track.
But I don't even know if that was recorded specifically for the track, because when I went and looked at the song credits, Cameron is not credited on the song.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was pulled from something else, if that was like a part of the original beat. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't think so.
Okay. So me and Evo were in the car listening to Say, and I turned to Evo, and Evo was like, oh shit, Cameron's on this song? Da 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 da. And then the song finished, and I was just like, yeah, but he didn't even rap a verse. I said, because he's not on J. Cole's level. And Evo was like, what do you mean he's not on his level? And I was like, Cameron is not on J. Cole's level. And
what I thought you said,
oh, yes,
what I thought you heard,
you did think,
which was my initial reaction, was like, you said Cameron ain't got nothing on J. Cole.
But yeah, that's not what I said. What I said was
what it came across to me. So
yes.
That's why you got that initial reaction of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Cameron ain't got nothing on J. Cole.
So what I said is that he's not on his level. And then you then went on to say that, or Evo went on to say that I can't compare Cameron to J. Cole because Cameron's music came out.
You started talking about numbers. You brought up numbers at that point.
Yes.
About them being on this, you know, comparing their levels and talking
yes.
about numbers. And I said you can't compare them. They're from two different eras. You know what I mean? And and granted, I agree with you. J. Cole is a great. Cameron is not like a GOAT. Okay. But lyrically, he's hard as hell. He's in his own lane. He's like no other. And I think he's you know, he is a great rapper.
And I said,
you went on to say what?
I'm gonna say it.
Okay, please do.
Yo, Evil thinks I'm scared. I said that Cameron was trash.
Yeah, you said Cameron was trash and Cameron was whack, right? And so
then Evil was like, I dare you to go on the live and say that. Like, yes. I'm scared. I said Cameron was trash. I do not think that Cameron is anywhere near close to J. Cole's level, not even in the least bit. Has Cameron put out some songs in the past that maybe you was in your car kind of like, you know, bopping to? Yes. But are any of his songs memorable? No.
I remember a ton of them.
Evo, the amount of times that we have talked about hip hop on this live, you have never once mentioned Cameron. I have never Gina, once heard you play a Cameron song.
Because guess what, Cameron, I know the rap that I could play around you. Okay.
Around me?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because certain rap, you just don't want to hear it. Okay. And Cameron's not your type of rapper. Okay. He's just not. You won't appreciate a lot of his music and a lot of the stuff that he raps about. Okay. So that's why I understand why you may not be feeling him as much as I do. Okay. But to go out as far and make a statement as calling him trash without really fully like experiencing his body of work, I think is a bit of an overstatement. And then I asked Evo to like tell me about some of his bodies of work, and Evo couldn't do that. Okay. Again. So I feel like if you're really passionate about it, I think that's a little unfair that you would say that. Why? I just think that considering the fact that can you pour some of this? When it comes to like just reciting stuff like that off the top of my head, I gotta think about it a bit. I gotta marinate on it. And you just want these answers right away. So the fact of the matter, like you're stating that I couldn't come up with anything. Like I had no Cam experience. That's the way you're making it seem, and that's not the way it is. I just felt like you were very passionate about how you felt about Cameron as a rapper. So I feel like you can go through my Spotify, and I have numerous playlists with Cameron songs on them. So, I'd like to know what people think. So here's an interesting point that I brought up, right? So I found it very interesting that a rapper that you call trash is on your favorite rapper's album. And your favorite rapper, J. Cole, used one of his beats and also sampled his voice. I just told you that it's not Cameron's beat. Okay. That whoever produced that beat, that's their beat. That's not Cameron's beat. That song is famous for Cameron's lyrics.
I understand
on
that,
it,
but
okay?
it's not his beat.
Okay, fine. Whatever the case may be, okay? It's known, Cameron is known for that song on that beat, okay? Let's just call it that, all right? J. Cole, your favorite rapper, used that as the first song on his track, okay? Now, I would like to think that as nice as J. Cole is, he only does collaborations and puts fire on his album. So to me,
he's not known to put anybody on his album.
Okay, only puts fire on his album. Fire beats, fire lyrics, fire producers. Like he works and he works and has the best of the best around him.
Okay.
So the fact of the matter is that he put Cameron's track or the song that Cameron rapped on and Cameron on his album.
Okay. Just
goes to show you the level of respect that J. Cole has for Cameron to use his work on his own album.
Okay.
So.
And I said to you, I felt like if he had that much respect for him, he would let him spit a verse
whatever
on
the
that
case,
song.
we
but
don't know
he
what the
didn't.
logistics are behind it. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is that he used another rapper's song and voice on his own album. That's a compliment in itself.
I'm not going to disagree that that was a compliment,
so
but that doesn't mean that I don't think personally
that your favorite rapper would be complimenting Cameron, but yet you're going to call him trash.
Yeah, again, and I still said, and I will still say that I thought Cameron was trash. And again, if it was, I'm not going to negate that I think it's a compliment, because I do think that it's a compliment to use someone's beat that they rapped on,
homage to him, you know, like
which is fine. But he didn't let him rap a verse.
Cameron can't listen. Look,
so I'm gonna read some comments real quick. So Joseph says the basic principles on this whole hip hop thing is can you rhyme? Fuck record sales. Anthony says Felix says shots fired, and then Stephanie says I love you, babe. Drink. And Joseph says Cole might squash Cam lyrically, but I've heard Cam spit. Thank you. And so Frank says, for as incredible as Cole is, I assure you that no one wants to see him in a freestyle.
Interesting.
For as credible as Cole is, I assure you that no one wants to see him in a freestyle. Evo makes a great point. The song is like when Cole recorded a song called I Think I Let Nas Down, paying homage to his style. So Frank, you're saying that no one wants to hear J. Cole spit a freestyle. Meanwhile, one of the biggest things circulating the internet right now is 2 of J. Cole's freestyles that he murdered.
I don't know if those were freestyles. He murked them. I don't know if those were freestyles. I've never.
Whether they were written or not,
that's a big difference.
Doesn't matter. He spit them from the top of his dome. One of your favorite freestyles, which is from Method Man on a radio show, he pulls out his phone, regardless if it's.
Those are not freestyles.
Okay. He has nothing in front of him, whether it's memorized or not.
No.
He
freestyle something that's
Evo,
not
you don't know this for fact.
Okay.
We're gonna take it as a freestyle. He said he was freestyling. The host at the radio show said it was a freestyle. J. Cole even set it off. He even started off by saying, "Yo, I haven't done this in mad long." It is a freestyle. You don't know otherwise.
Listen to the whole thing, so
I did. I listened to both of them.
Okay. Wow.
And them shits were fire. Okay.
Can you tell us what
pull up a freestyle from Cameron
exactly
for me.
did you mean by that comment, Frank, about not wanting to hear him freestyle?
Okay, so let me read this. So he says, no, what I'm saying is that his freestyle cannot be beat.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. I meant that Cole is best on that freestyle topic.
I'm sure he is.
Listen, I consider an artist to be a great or someone that is good when they are memorable. When you can look back and say, yo, this song from XYZ, that shit was fire. And I know you to do that with many artists. I know you can quote Tupac songs, Biggie songs, Big Pun songs. I know you could do these right off the top of your head. Never once have I heard you talk about Cameron.
I can spit at least 5 Cameron songs off the top of my head.
Okay.
They're just not your type of music, Gina.
Evo,
okay?
How is it Cameron's not my type of music?
Because, honey, I've listened to music with you, all right? And when a music gets to a certain degree of vulgarity and just ratchetness, you say, I don't want to hear this no more, turn it off. Okay? And
that's interesting, because I listen to DMX.
Okay, how is that interesting, Gina? Listen to me. I know that, so Cameron has a song called Suck It or Not. Okay? The whole song is about, is a girl going to suck his dick or not? And it's the raunchiest shit ever about, being in a place and like not giving a hell about nothing but just getting head from a girl. Okay, that's one of my favorite songs of his. One of them of many. Okay. I would never play that to you because you would never want to hear that. Now, Cameron,
because it's trash.
Okay, again, Cameron, that's your personal opinion, and I respect that. But Cameron has a bunch of songs like that where they're just about drugs, they're just about violence and things. This is just not stuff that you listen to. All right, that's just that you don't. I know that the rap that you listen to, you like good rap, good content, artistic rap. Rap that that has a story to tell. That's your style. But like, there's other types of rap that you just don't listen to, and anytime you've ever heard it, you have no desire to want to listen to it. Okay. So Cameron that's kind of like his forte.
Okay, I would disagree with that, but I do agree with you to a certain extent.
Okay.
I would say I would agree with you. Like I would disagree with that, and I would agree with it, like 50-50. Because I listen to artists like Wu-Tang where they talk about some off the wall shit.
No, but Cameron's just he's different.
He's just whack.
Call it what you want. Listen, I'm gonna take no offense to it because you haven't listened to. You're like speaking about something that you don't know about. I think what you may have probably heard like 2 or 3 Cameron songs in your whole life. So.
So Felix says that I got receipts. And
yeah, I hit it with the listen, Linda.
Felix, we're actually gonna get to that. And Frank says that Frank says, "Yo, Evil hit Gina with the honey. Listen, Linda. You don't like Cameron?"
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so we just want to touch on that real quick. Evil is 100% entitled to his opinion. I'm 100% entitled to my opinion. We just wanted some other people to chime in because we thought it would be fun. So let's move on to the queen of hip hop, none other than Nicki Minaj, who blessed us with some new music last night. And I'm gonna say this: I actually shared some of this. I shared one of the songs with a friend of mine, and the song was called Seeing Green, and she was like, "Oh, you team Nicki now?" I've always been team Nicki, but real talk, I personally felt like Nicki was lacking a little bit in her last albums. I felt like she went more of the pop route than she did the hip hop route, and it made me not be so interested in her music. That being said, I was excited to hear that she was dropping new music last night. Yeah, I was excited to see that she was dropping new music last night. Let me read a comment. So Joseph says, hold on one second, I'm sorry. Oh, snap. Amanda says, whatever, Gina. But I'm saying exactly what we said to each other, which was that she was like, "Oh, you team Nicki now?" And I'm like, "I've always been team Nicki, but she's been lacking." So Joseph says, DJ Clue, Harlem World with Queens, Bridge Freestyle, one of the best I've ever heard, and can destroy that shit.
Cam destroys that shit.
Cam. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. It's kind of far away. And Amanda, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you joining us tonight.
What's up, Amanda?
And she came in right at the right time. Her ear must have been ringing.
Yep, ready to
So
roast.
yeah, Nicki Minaj announced that she was dropping new music, and I was excited to hear her drop some new music because just recently you and I have been playing Nicki. Like, we played Monster the other day, and I was just like, "Yo, I need this Nicki. This is the Nicki that I need." And one of my favorite motherfucking songs from Nicki Minaj is Itty Bitty Piggy, and that song is from her mixtape in 2009, and I used to go on YouTube to listen to it because she's never released it. And Nicki has blessed us with it. So she re-released her mixtape, Beam Me Up Scotty, last night with 3 new songs. And they are Seeing Green, which is featuring Drake and Lil Wayne, Fractions, and Crocodile Teeth. Fractions is fire. Seeing Green is fire. Crocodile Teeth is fire.
I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed the lyrical style that Nicki brought to these songs. It's definitely it was missing from her. She kind of like went back to what like originally put her on the map, which was,
excuse me one second,
which was that style, that that rough and rugged Nicki style. Oh, that's what I didn't even realize that the thing was running this whole time.
Yeah. And
I enjoy that part of her. I didn't really enjoy when she went whole Barb, and that whole, I don't even know what you call that part of her career. For me, that was when Nicki took a path that I didn't really follow her on that.
Well, like I said, I feel like Nicki went the route of she was a little bit more pop than I would have liked, because I loved Nicki when Nicki was like, she had that other.
She was a motherfucking monster.
Yeah, when she was Roman, when she had that other side of her where she went hard. And Felix says, I'm team when the music is good and not basura. To be honest, it was on Apple Music months ago. Wait, what are you talking about? What was on Apple Music months ago? Are you talking about Itty Bitty Piggy? Because if it was, I don't fucking have Apple Music. God damn it, a bitch was still going on
Apple
YouTube.
Music is whack.
Well, you know what
we tried it.
Well, they were offering free 3 months again to try to get people back.
I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. I tried it. I didn't like it, and I ended up signing up to Spotify.
Yeah, we've been on Spotify for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so Felix is saying yes. You know what's funny, Felix? I did read that in tweets that people were saying, "Oh my God, people didn't know that it was on Apple Music. Nobody didn't tell a bitch." But anyway, so with this new release of music, it's a release of new music, 3 new songs, and it has the re-release of her original mixtape album, which I love because she also has the Chirac song on there, which is also fire. But just hearing this type of music coming from Nicki reminds me of the old Nicki. So do you think when we get this new album from her, what avenue do you think, and I'm asking the audience too, what avenue do you think Nicki's gonna go down?
Wait a minute. So I'm a little confused. You said when we get this new album. I thought that this was
this is just like a prelude to
3 songs and the pre-release. It's kind
of
like
a re-release.
A re-release.
Yeah. So it's 3 new songs and a re-release.
And a re-release. Kind of like a teaser, and here's a bunch of other stuff that was all over the place in one.
Yeah, in one album.
Okay.
And yes, Felix, Crocs. We actually are going to talk about that a little later tonight. Because that picture blew my mind.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
So what
please?
I'm asking you, and what I'm asking the audience is, what do you think we are going to get from Nicki Minaj when she releases, hopefully, a new album in the next coming months or year or whatever it is?
By the sound of what I heard and the way that she put together this re-release, it sounds like it's gonna be a lot of the older Nicki.
Is what I'm praying for.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that she probably would mix the album up a little bit and kind of like still throw some stuff in there that's on the other side of her persona, just to
You mean the more pop side?
Maybe the more pop side, maybe the more softer side, just to, I don't know, mix it up a bit, just to put some content out there to see what the reaction is.
So this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that with her new album, I want to say that her last couple of albums have, like I've said, have been more pop. I feel like the albums are majority pop, where we get maybe 1 or 2 songs that is more hip hop, more rap. I'm hoping that the new album that she releases is the other way. I hope it's more hip hop, rap, and maybe 1 or 2 songs pop. I would love to see it go in that avenue. And I would almost hope that her having a child would give her like a new vision, would even make her a little bit more focused on the grind, because I can speak from experience that when you become a mother, it like sometimes ignites something in you. Right. It makes you want something even more, because now you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for you and for your child. So I feel like that could potentially ignite something in a female artist that male artists don't necessarily get to tap into. Male artists can have children, but they're not giving birth to the child. So like I think it gives you like a different feeling. So I'm hoping that she comes out with like this rawness from that. So that is what I'm hoping to see from her. And Stephanie says, I want to hear her go hard for Black Lives Matter and women's rights. That would be a very interesting perspective, because honestly, I can't say that I've heard of Nicki speaking out against things. I do know that she's been kind of more on the quiet side lately because she recently has had a child. And I think she's just really been focusing on that. And then Felix says, I forgot she popped out a crotch goblin. Oh shit. And then Stephanie says, I love to watch Mama Lions. That is Imagine that was the name of her album, Mama Lions.
That's
Yo,
actually a pretty dope name for an album.
that's a dope ass name, and that's what I would love. I would love to see her come out and be like, "Yeah, I'm a mom, and what? I'm coming to wreck shit."
You know what? Here's a little bit of a side question, but still
Okay.
on the mother thing. I don't know if I ever asked you this before, but what makes a woman like having a child has got to be like not only a unique experience, but a tough experience, you know, because you have you give birth to a child and then you have to do like the whole recovery and all that stuff, and you know, however you may have it, whether it's, you know, natural or C-section or, you know, epidural, you know, there's so many like things that you have to deal with afterwards that, you know, you have to recover from. You know, what makes a woman like make that decision to do that again? I feel like that's such a like it's such it's such an experience. Like you put your body through like such change, and so there's like this big recovery part of it, and you know, you have to like go through all this, you know, healing and stuff like that. What makes a woman willingly like want to just go through that again?
So I personally would say that it's a couple things. It's not. I don't think it's just one thing, and this is just my personal opinion. First and foremost, when you give birth to a child, it is the most beautifulest thing that you will ever experience. I can tell you, every single time I gave birth to one of my children, the feeling that I felt was like, I'm not a religious person, but I literally felt like God touched me when I would see my child for the first time. I feel like you put that to the forefront of your mind when you think about conceiving another child. You think about the beauty on the other end of that.
So there's an emotion that you feel that is unmatched to anything you've ever felt in your life.
Like literally, and it is the most. I honestly think it's probably one of the hardest things to explain, but mothers, I can say that to another mother, and they will understand what I'm saying.
No, I think I get it. I think I understand now that you've explained it that way. Because an emotion, a feeling like that is not something that you can buy or replicate. You know, you actually have to go through the experience. Yeah. And if for a woman to go through it multiple times just speaks volumes to the actual feeling of that emotion.
Now, I said it was a couple things, because I think that for me that would be like the primary thing. I also think it could be for the love of a man. And I don't think that diminishes a woman. I think that there could be such a strong bond between a woman and a man. A woman can love her spouse, her husband. And I say spouse too, because it could be a gay relationship too. And they can find ways to conceive. Sure. I think the woman could love her spouse so much that the thought of creating a person between the two of them pushes you past what potential pain you may endure.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. You know, especially since I've seen those the videos of like men having to wear those oh
yes, so more recently, the devices that, I don't know if anyone's seen this on social media, men they're putting these devices on men so that they could feel what it feels like to have contractions, and I've also seen it where they can feel cramps, menstrual cramps.
And they keel over.
And the men are like fucking dying.
They fold like lawn chairs. And then, you know, to think that women have to go through these things and they willingly do it over and over again is just, it's, as a man, it's mind blowing to me. You got to understand that I can't wrap my head around it. It's impossible.
Yeah, I don't
it's
think
impossible for me to like fully understand. I can only imagine. And even that, it's like, it's probably microscopic to what it actually, you know, what it actually is, you know. So I find it very interesting.
Well, one thing I can tell you on the total flip side of that, when you done too.
Yeah, just punching out.
When women are done having children, they are done, fam. And I can tell you, I'm one of those chicks. I'm done. The shop is closed. Nada más. Don't even look at me that way.
On vacation.
Right?
Closed for the summer.
I'm retired. I'm not on vacation. I'm retired. And God bless women that continue to have children past their 40s, because dear God, the way my body started to change after 35, don't even look at me. Don't even look at me like that. So God bless women, because like, as much as we know when we want to have children, we know when we don't want that
Stephanie
shit.
says the bakery's closed.
And then Stephanie says, I love watching it. Us females are like, I don't feel anything. Is it on?
Oh, shit.
Exactly. We literally are just like, is this thing even working?
That's crazy.
Yeah, but we are conditioned for it. We have cramps when we have our menstrual cycle, so it's something that we are conditioned.
Yeah.
It's at 10 times more, but it's not something that we've never experienced in our entire life. But there's a beauty in it, and I think I have a tattoo. And if you can't see it, you're not going to be able to read that. But it says, where there is no struggle, there is no strength. So, like, you have to struggle through things to find strength. And I think once you've done it, you know that as painful and as and crazy as it may be, on the other side of that, there's this beauty. So you're just like, I'll do it again.
It's great.
Yeah. So just to wrap up Nicki, I was listening to some of her new songs, and there was some particular verses that jumped out at me that I was just kind of like, I wonder what she's talking about. So I would like to ask the audience what your thoughts are on these lyrics, because I personally was thinking that maybe she was talking a little trash.
Taking shots.
And you know, we like to shit talk over here, so I'm like, I'm ready for it. So in her song, Seeing Green, this is a verse that she has. I wash bitches, man, they couldn't even rinse me. She says she hot. I said, well, bitch, convince me. Ain't no C in green, but I'm seeing green. Another verse that she has in that song is, bitches, time is tick-tocking, better stick to dancing. Do you think, what do you think these lyrics mean? And and let's keep it real. Do you think she's taking shots at Cardi?
Well, if she's saying there's no C in green, all I see is green.
No.
She says there's no C in green.
Ain't no C in green, but I'm seeing green.
But I'm seeing green.
Yeah.
All right. It's interesting how she has like this beef with Cardi, and she's gonna throw a C in that kind of. It seems like a diss line,
Yeah.
So
Felix says yes.
I mean, one would like to think so if you had to sit there and take a guess. But I just find it funny how a lot of these artists, they do stuff like this, and very few. I probably can count on one hand how many artists have had the balls or the guts to mention names on a song directly.
So the reason why I think she potentially is talking about Cardi is because in the line where she says, I wash bitches, man, they couldn't even rinse me. She says she hot. Well, bitch, convince me. She says she's hot. She didn't say they. So she's not categorizing as as like a multitude of women. She's saying she. So I feel like she's talking about one specific person.
Right, well, she went as far as ain't no C in green. All I see is green, right? So, and then that whole bitches be TikToking, better stick to dancing. These are all things that, like, C is for Cardi. Cardi used to be a dancer. They're not directly tying to her, but these are things that are definitely associated with Cardi. And, if you put that together with the beef, you kind of got to like puzzle this thing together and try to solve a riddle as to where I feel like, if you got something to say about somebody, you'll come out and say it.
But don't you think, and don't you think that it's kind of a little bit more enticing to not, like, okay, hear me out on this.
I just don't think Nicki wants that smoke like that.
Hear me out on this. I think it's a little bit more enticing to maybe imply something rather than directly saying it. And I'm going to tell you why I think that. More recently, you and I have been listening to this particular this particular like DJ who's been remixing music, and Sick Music is his name, and he's the guy who wears the red mask. And one of the things that I've noticed about reading several of his comments on his music is that so many people wonder what he looks like behind the mask. I think that's part of his shtick. So when something is not right there, it keeps drawing people in. So I think that when an artist or a rapper doesn't directly say someone's name, and they potentially imply, or they maybe like say something that's kind of sounds like they're talking about a specific person, it leads people to do what we're doing right now, speculate. People are like, oh my God, is she talking about her? Is she talking about this one? That's what it does, because if she says it directly, then it's not going to create that conversation, Evo.
So here's what I think. I think that when you embarrass another person to the extent where you publicly put their name out to embarrass them personally, and you're dealing with people that, you know, come from rough upbringings, you're liable to push somebody to the brink to do something stupid, especially if that person got money. And it don't cost a lot of money to put a bag on your head. It don't cost a lot of money to send someone after you. All right?
Really?
Yes. It doesn't.
Okay.
I'm
not saying that. Okay. I'm not saying that it doesn't cost a lot of money. I'm just saying, really, you think that they would go that far?
If you humiliating someone personally,
okay,
you better believe there's gonna be some type of retaliation. I mean, look, the hip hop beef stuff that have popped off have been over rappers getting at each other on songs, and really kind of like singling each other out on songs.
Okay. I
mean, that's what rap beefs are about, and sometimes they spin out of control. So as a rapper, you kind of got to be careful how far you go with that, you know, on pointing one single person out, because you better be prepared for what comes with that. You know, so if you want to dance a great line, you could say what you want and still get it out, and then it could always be like either this or that. It was never really like one thing. So people could take it for what they want. And yes, in the same sense, like you're saying, there's that whole, you know, where you gotta like, leaves you to wonder, you know, and it kind of like spins your thoughts and kind of like, you know, creates this whole thought process of, could it be this, could it be that? And yes, I get that, but that's done on purpose to protect themselves, to kind of like keep themselves behind a protective curtain, because if you go that far, you may push that person over the edge and end up getting a retaliation that you didn't really want to begin with over a rap song. Okay,
that's interesting, and I would hate for something like that to happen, because I really like Cardi and I really like Nicki, and personally, I would love to see them collab. I would love to see all of these, you know, Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Mulatto, fucking all of them. I want to see all of them get together and just do like a fire track. I would love that shit. I'm all about that girl power.
50 Cent has gone on record, on an interview, like literally taped, saying like, bro, if you think you can come at me, I'll just send goons after you. He goes, and it don't cost much. He goes, I got money like that now. He goes,
wow.
I'll put you under.
Okay, so I'm going to read some comments. So Stephanie says, for someone who likes both ladies, I wish they chill out. They both have talent, both a good businesswoman. I like to see them bunk it. I would agree. And Felix, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by, because Cardi said vodka yellow, LOL, so C there too. Same with C. And then Gina says, the imply stirs up more controversy because it makes people question and talk, so it draws more people. Exactly on my point, Jay. So that's what I was getting at. I think that when you imply something, it leads to conversation.
Of course it brings
Bodak, okay.
Yeah, it brings up controversy.
Yeah, so and hello, our show is called Shit Talk Fridays, drinks with a splash of controversy. So I think that when you imply something like that, it leads to that conversation of controversy. Nicki or Cardi is looking for people to have these type of conversations, because good news, bad news, that shit is news, and it's putting your name out there at the end of the day.
But on the same sense, there's a level of liability that comes with like directly addressing a person and putting them on the spot, putting the spotlight on them. All right, and like when you have, you know, you're signed to a label and you have all of these like responsibilities where, you employ all these people, like you have to be careful with what you say, because things can get out of hand. So I think that, like, I feel like there's both sides to that, where, implying things, and stirring that up. Yes, that is great. But there's a whole nother side to it that, if you step over the line, things could get ugly. And they have in the past.
Yeah. Hello. We've lost some of our favorite artists because of that shit. So we're actually at the top of the hour, 9:00. We have about a half an hour left. That brings us to our top 5 for the night. So we figured that we would just keep it going with fucking music.
Let's go. Let's do it.
And one of the things that I thought about from hearing these 2 new albums from J. Cole and Nicki Minaj was people on Twitter talking about these are the new summer albums. And these being the new summer albums, I immediately was like, yo, it's about to be summer. Like, and if anybody knows me, I'm a summer hoe. Like, a bitch love the beach. A bitch love the warm weather.
You like to be outside.
I love to be outside. I love to be in the backyard. Like, I'm all about that. I'm about listening to music, vibing out, having a good drink, talking with friends. Like, I'm about that. So, like, when we were thinking about summertime in music, I said to Eva, I was like, yo, why don't we do a top 5 summer songs? So we wrote a song about like to hear. Here it go.
Top 5 all time
summer songs. Wait a second. We almost do we want to jump right into that? Do we want to talk about that guy, your guy, real quick?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes. Before we go into the top 5, so kind of like taking it back a few steps.
Yeah, a few steps. Yeah. Because there's a guy that we want to talk about real quick because some of these tracks that we heard on J. Cole and Nicki Minaj's album, we need this guy.
On the topic of like listening on like dissecting verses and kind of like breaking them down and really separating the words and figuring out what the artist actually meant when they said what they said. There's a content creator by the name of Colors, okay? And this is his page right here. This guy right here, his whole page is dedicated to breaking down lines in rap songs and hip hop songs that have meaning that otherwise, had he not broken them down, you probably would have never known the true meaning of them.
Legit.
Like, this is what he does, and he's an ace at it. Okay, and I'm gonna play one of his posts for you to understand exactly what it is that he does, because I don't think that my words can justify exactly what this man does to lyrics.
I would completely agree with that.
All right, so here we go.
I'd have to be stomped by 40 men to suffer a defeat. Eminem says that it'll take 40 grown male individuals to stomp on him for him to finally suffer a loss or a defeat. Okay, pretty simple bar. Wait a minute. 40 men all have 2 feet. 40 times 2 is 80. So if Eminem was stomped out by 40 men, he would suffer 80 feet.
Damn.
That's tough.
You don't miss.
That's so good. So is there anyone else having trouble breaking down big brain bars lately?
It might be your mental. Listen, go ahead and download Fabulous, the self-care app. Fabulous promotes a healthier lifestyle in reducing stress, that focus and that concentration so that you can have those big brain calculations you heard. Link is in my bio. Go get right.
All right, so if you like what you saw, I highly recommend that you go find this guy on TikTok.
Yeah.
His TikTok is @colors, and he does this for multiple songs, for multiple verses, and breaks them down in ways that I'm telling you, he finds the meaning in them that you didn't even know existed.
And that is just one good example, because there are so many that I have seen that after he breaks it down, I'm like, oh shit. So I'm really hoping that he breaks down some of the lyrics that are in Nicki Minaj's new songs and in J. Cole's new songs, because honestly, even though the verses and the bars are fire, I necessarily don't 100% know what the hell they're talking about.
You know what's funny is that he actually broke something down on one of Lil Wayne's verses that I'm actually ashamed that I didn't even know that this was the true meaning on it. And the verse, actually the line goes, real G's move in silence like lasagna, right? And he's like, real G's move in silence like lasagna. He's like, so G's are gangsters and they move in silence. He's like, but lasagna, the G is silent. He was like, oh shit, and then he kind of plays like this like tone of like feeling dumb, like that, you know, that he didn't realize that
because the G silent.
The G is silent like lasagna, and real G's move in silence.
That's insane wordplay, and like I appreciate this gentleman for helping us decode it, because I just be in the car singing that shit, and Lord knows I butcher half of the lyrics, so I appreciate him even going a little bit further. Stephanie says, oh shit, he decodes. He also resembles 50 Cent. Applaud
Good
him.
observation.
All right, so now let's move on to our top 5 for the night that
Yes.
we spoke about colors. I really like him, so we encourage you to go follow him. Top 5 for the night. Top 5 summer songs. Starting off with number 5. We have an honorable mention, and I'm going to start off with number 5, but I will say this. Before I disclose number 5, Evo and I had a little bit of a tough time with number 5. Because we were kind of going back and forth about what should be in this spot. And I don't want to say that the song that I chose went over his. It was over some deliberation and pointing out why I thought this one should be a number 5 spot. And then he then understood why it made a better summer song versus the honorable mention that we'll talk about later. Right. So the number 5 spot goes to It Feels Like Summer from Childish Gambino. Now, if you're not familiar with this song, it actually came out about 2 years ago. And I immediately think of the video, and it's basically just an animated version of Childish Gambino walking through his old neighborhood, and what's happening around him is summertime. And the song goes, it feels like summer in the air, feels like summer.
Yeah, if you haven't heard this song,
and I wish we could play it for you.
We'll get copyrighted. Do yourself a favor. It Feels Like Summer, Childish Gambino. Please take note of it. Find it, and this summer make sure that you play this on a beautiful day.
Yes. While
you're driving in your car, and I guarantee you it will be on your playlist for the rest of your life.
And you don't even have to be driving in your car. You could be on You could be on public transportation with your headphones on.
I just feel like this. Okay, all right. You're right, but you need to be like. There has to be like an outdoor element to it where you're like
that I would agree with. Like so, there has to be like a window or something,
or just some wind kind of blowing in your face, like warm breeze.
Yeah,
something about that. Like so, I said car because that's where like I can get that.
Yeah.
But for people who don't drive, definitely do it like if you're like walking outside and it's a beautiful day and you got your headphones on. Play this at that time, and I guarantee you, it'll be a timeless classic forever. It's just something that I will forever be listening to. It's like one of my favorite songs to listen to in the summertime.
And I'm gonna just tell you what the honorable mention is right now, because like I don't want to go through the next 4 and we not explain why we had a hard time doing this.
Right.
So our honorable mention, which could have been a number 5, was California Love by Tupac featuring Dr. Dre. Now, as much as I love this song, and Mark, welcome to the stream. As much as I love this California Love from Tupac and Dr. Dre, I feel like the song goes really hard.
Yeah.
And it has a strong California vibe to it.
Hell yeah.
I remember the first time I heard this song, I literally was like, do I even belong on the East Coast? Should I be living in the West Side? Like, a bitch was ready to pack it up and move to California.
That song hit different.
However, I had to envision summertime, and I had to envision being in a car, driving down, going to the beach. Like, that's what I think about when I think about summertime. Being in the backyard with friends, having a barbecue. And do I think that California Love is potentially the right song for that?
No. California Love is more like a personal type of song that you listen, you're like with your boys or your homegirls, and it's just yeah. Or
like you vibing hard, but like I feel like if you're cruising to go to the shore, to go to the beach, or you're like chilling on the beach with friends, or you're just like listening to some chill ass music, or you're having a barbecue, you're having a cookout, I feel like it feels like like Childish Gambino is more of a summer song than California Love.
Yes, Childish Gambino summer love is like it's definitely like it's very laid back.
Yeah,
as to
it's
where
a vibe.
It's definitely a vibe.
It's definitely a vibe. Like your grandma could listen to this. It feels like summer and be like, "What is this?"
California Love requires it's definitely like it fits into like a smaller group of people to listen to.
Yes,
but definitely, I know California was doing backflips when this shit dropped in Cali.
I fucking love that song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
And the video was insane.
Yes, it was.
Because it had the Mad Max, feel to it. And I love Mad Max. And when I saw that, I was just like, yo, they in these cars riding through the desert. And then they had the guy with the auto-tune. I was like, oh my God, I think I need to live in the West Coast. I still think I need to be in the West Coast.
Yeah.
I still think I need to be where it's warm all the time. Even
I
though
don't know,
this past winter I did better than
I feel like California has a lot of fake people, and
yeah, that's what people say.
that's
And
what
guess
they
what?
say. Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's your
I'm
cup
not
of
there.
tea.
I'm not there to socialize. I don't even like to socialize on the East Coast. What makes you think that I'm gonna go to West Coast and hang out with people?
I just feel like that.
I'm trying to go hiking.
I just feel like over here on the East Coast, like a lot of people wear their personalities on their shoulders, you know. As to where in California, people like are purposely like fake. And
listen, I don't know. We have not been there. You
this
have
is
not
what
been there a lot.
I've been told this by people actually from California for a while. You know, for actually not a while, but like for a short time, I did car service. And I picked people up from the airport, and I did pick up quite a few people from California and got to speak to them personally. And that was one of the things that they all told me the most that they hated. Not about California, about LA.
Okay, so like, listen,
LA was that. You can't
and,
like.
and just so we know, if I'm ever moved to the West Coast, it would not
It's not
be to
gonna be
LA.
LA.
I'll be in SoCal. You crazy? Crazy. Mark says, how are you both? Hope you had a good weekend. Mark, we had a fantastic
Amazing
week. And thank you so much for asking. It was actually, we had some really nice weather this week here.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it and got to do a lot of things. And Mark also says that Tupac is his favorite rapper of all time. And Felix says, if you go, fit me in your suitcase.
Yo, Felix is down for anything. I love it.
Wait, he says, why he talking about my lips for? Wait, I'm confused. What is he talking about? All right, so let's move on to our number 4 spot. It's actually on 9:13. Excuse me. I don't want to go over time tonight because when I have to rewatch this live and I'm like, oh my God, we went an hour and 50 minutes. Dear God. So our number 4 spot for a top 5 summer song goes to Latch by Disclosure. Now, again, if you have not heard this song came out like 2017. Evo will sing the song for you.
Oh, really?
Come on, Evo. This is.
You let my heart out when the rest of me was down. Da da. You when the you know how it goes. But yeah, now that we found nothing. I don't know all the words, but you get the gist of it.
The song,
that song right there was like,
that was Evo's and still is Evo's summer anthem. Evo listens to that song religiously, and I couldn't remember the name of the song, but then I went in your Spotify and boom, there it was. Oh, and then Felix says because they're fake now. Yeah, don't listen. Cal is so far from your BFFs, Gina. I know. That's probably the only thing that keeps me here is my friends and my family that I have here, because when I went to California a couple years ago, a bitch did not want to get on the plane.
yeah, well, you didn't go to LA, so you went to like the nicer parts.
Oh, Gina says with feeling Evo louder.
Oh, yeah, she's saying with feeling Evo louder. She wanted me to like really. She wanted me to really get into it.
Oh dear God.
I gotta warm up a bit. I can't really just jump right into it like that.
Oh, and Felix says he would take the flight to see me. Listen, if I moved out to California, Evo and I have some dreams and aspirations, and in the near future, I would say within the next decade or so, we are looking to be travelers. We're not looking to be stationary.
No, definitely not.
We're just waiting for our young daughter to just be a little bit older so that we could dump her on our older children and peace out.
Yep.
Because I want to be everywhere and anywhere at any given time.
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
Yeah, right. And California may be a stopping ground on our way to.
Yeah, I'm trying to go out the country.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to. I want to explore a lot of South America. Is definitely where I want to go. Primarily, but maybe some parts of Europe. I'm not sure.
I'm actually more interested in Europe.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what it is about Europe? For me, I think it's they don't have as many beach areas that I would like. There are some countries that we've discussed that they do have that environment. Those are the countries that I'm looking to go to. But the countries that don't have like that beach environment, listen, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not like a artsy fartsy type of girl, so like I'm not looking to go look at some museum or some mausoleum. I'm looking to go to the beach where it's beautiful, where there's palm trees, and have a good time.
I can see that. I mean, you don't. I just feel like you don't have to go all the way to South America to experience that. I'm thinking I want to experience Europe more for the culinary aspect of it, and the historic aspect of it. You know, I feel like there's a lot of history in Europe.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
And then Mark says, yeah, had a rough week, but glad to join you guys for a drink tonight. Mark, I appreciate you after having a rough week for still coming on and joining us tonight. I appreciate you. And yes, please join us in our drink. We are drinking some good old wine tonight. And then Gina says, we going everywhere. And then Stephanie says, same, Mark, you both helped set up the weekend.
That's what's up. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we could be here for you guys.
Yeah, like honestly,
you guys actually do it for us.
Yeah, like literally,
you don't realize that.
Like we come on here for you.
Like we come on
here because
to chill, have some drinks, and vent.
Our audience is not large.
Yeah.
But the people that do come on to see us, we appreciate you so much, and we strive every week to do our best for you, and that's what keeps us going. So
I just love the fact that we can get together with so many people and have
at all different ends of the spectrum.
All different ends of the spectrum from all different parts, of some from different parts of the world, some from different parts of the country. And I love the ability to be able to sit here and just, converse live. I mean, I think that's what I love about it the most.
Yeah, for real, honestly. And sometimes I look at other people like on TikTok and Instagram. I'm like, oh man, these people doing these pre-recorded podcasts. I'd be kind of jealous because they don't have. But then I think about it and I'm like, actually, fuck that shit.
I like the live aspect.
I love the live aspect. All right, so let's move on to number 3 because I feel like number 5 and number 4, I feel like they're a little bit more obscure. I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily know those songs. But again, number 5 spot went to Feels Like Summer by Childish Gambino. Number 4 went to Latch by Disclosure. Our number 3 spot goes to none other than Biggie Smalls, Hypnotized. And now listen, I know everybody in the audience knows this song.
Papa Twist, Cabbage on Instinct, niggas.
And the reason why I chose this song was because the minute that I hear this song Hypnotized, I just think about Biggie and Puffy on that yacht in those Versace shirts. And I just think about how I'm going to Miami and that's going to be me on a yacht. Bobbing to Hypnotize with a champagne glass. And to me, that is a summer song.
That you
vibing hard to that
summertime anthem hard that year. So Stephanie says, would you go to Tahiti with me and my hubby? You all can be in the hut next to us.
That's a yes.
What?
You don't gotta ask me twice.
I second that motion.
Right? I'm all about being in the hut. If anybody knows anything about me, I'm all about I like to be bougie, but at the same time, I love to rough it. Like when we went camping, even when I went to go set up our tent, and I think it took us like an hour to set up our tent. I think I lost 3.
It was the first time. It was the first time we set it up. So we were we literally cracked it open that time for the first time. So it took we had a little bit of a learning curve, and it was hot. A
little bit of a learning curve, and it was like 100 degrees outside. Yeah. I think I lost like 17 pounds putting up that fucking tent.
Hot. And I mean, and the funny thing was that we weren't even in the shade. Like the sun was just
beating on
us, like with no breaks.
No chill. That sun had no chill. But did I complain once?
Nah.
Because that's how I am. Like, I'm just like, yo, listen, we going to do this, and this is what we got to do, and that's all there is to it. But then there's times where I'm just like, it's cold in here. It's hot. Like, I don't know. I just go from 0 to 60.
I mean, I think when we're outdoors, you adapt. But, like, if you're in the comfort of your own home, then, like, of course you want comfort.
No, but I'm talking about, like, when we go places where it's, like, a little bit, there's more luxury.
Right, because you feel like your concerns can be attended to, as to where when you're outdoors, it's like...
Yeah, well, it's also because I paid for it. Like, when I pay for something, I'm just like, nah, I'm not with that. But like I also love to rough it. So when you say a hut, I'm waiting to do that. Actually, I have a really great memory. When I was in my teenage years, I actually went to St. Martin and we stood in like a kind of like a hut style thing, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. We actually went to the grocery store, bought food because we had like a little stove and stuff. We didn't eat out at restaurants. We literally just went to the beach every day, barbecued by our little hut, and then like that's all we did for like 4 days, and it was fucking fantastic. Yeah. And we even would walk to the supermarket on like their little dirt roads, and I fucking loved that. And we did it over a long weekend, and I went back to school, and it was like still cold in New York, and I remember going back to school and I was so dark, and people were like, where the hell did you go? And I was like, yo, I was in St. Martin. Yeah, I felt like a boss. All right, so that was our number 3, Hypnotized by Biggie Smalls. And I don't think that I have to ask anybody to go listen to this song after that. If you have not heard Hypnotized, then you've been living under a rock your whole motherfucking life.
You need to check yourself.
So our number 2 spot for top 5 summer songs goes to Maria by Carlos Santana featuring Product GB. Again, this is another song. If you have not heard this song, I'm going to ask Evo to sing it.
Maria, Maria, she reminds me of a West Side Story. Growing up in Spanish Harlem. Anyway, that's
living a life just like a movie star.
You know, it's really sucks that we can't play these songs because like,
we would love to play these songs for you, but YouTube would fucking come for me. And
that's how much we love you guys. That we're actually singing these things for you so that you can experience them in a way where we know that you understand what song we're talking about.
And I remember the first time that I heard this song, and we replayed the song today, and I literally got goosebumps all over my body when I heard this song.
Yeah, it was a great song. I actually, funny story, right? I sung this song at a karaoke bar one time, and you know, the funny story, right? Because like you're like, all right, it's karaoke. Like, what's so funny about that? The funny story was that this was like I ended up going to this bar with my white guy friend, right? Mm-hmm. And
what's the
right?
quotation?
I just felt like, because like, you know, like you say white guy friend, like I say it in quotations because like I don't even like saying it like that, you know, but I had to like say it because so you understand what type of environment that I was in. Mm-hmm. So I walked in, I was literally like the only Spanish guy in the bar, you know, and like, you know, there were people just drinking, they were playing rock music, you know, and everybody, they're like karaoke and rock music. I think the activity where like you go to a bar and it's like there's pool tables. At this place it was dartboards, like they were playing darts and stuff like that, and the place was packed. And you know, we were hanging out, whatever, and people were singing karaoke, and I ended up having like 6 or 7 drinks, and I started feeling really good.
Evil was feeling himself.
Yeah, I started feeling really good, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go up there, and I'm that was like one of my favorite songs to sing at the time. So I went up and I'm like, I'm just gonna flip the whole vibe in this place right now and see what happens. I don't give a fuck right now. I was really feeling myself.
I'd have paid to see this.
Yo, let me tell you something. I had all these white people dancing salsa and merengue moves that I never seen before. Like they were spinning each other around and everybody was like dancing. Like up until that point, I want to say like all the other people before me that went up and sang karaoke, there was like a couple group of people dancing, but the rest of the bar was just kind of conversing and like, you know, doing the thing. Chilling. Yo, literally 90% of this bar was dancing to Maria. Like that's how great of a song that is. I mean, it's not even about that I sung it. It was the fact that like it is just that great of a song.
Agreed.
That everybody can love it. And it was just funny that the funny part about it to me was that I couldn't believe how many people were actually dancing to the song.
Because it's that song.
Yeah.
And Maria is one of those songs, and Carlos Santana and his skills on a guitar are probably, he's a GOAT. He's like one of the greatest of all times when it comes to his ability to play the guitar. So I think it has like different aspects. The song was sung beautifully, and then his skills as a guitarist, I think, really just like catapults the song. So I think people who come from maybe a rock environment, they could really appreciate that song for that.
Yeah. Though, you know what the funny thing was is that like I actually was getting it's a great song, and anybody who listens to the song, you know, at a party, it'll probably get a lot of people dancing. But because I ended up putting it on and I ended up singing the song for the whole night that I was there, I got the credit for getting like the whole bar into a whole vibe. And all night everybody was like, yo, what's up, man? Like everybody was my friend. Everybody was like, people were buying me drinks. Like I felt like
Evil doing what Evil does best.
I felt like kind of like a celebrity, man. It was like I stole Carlos Santana's like his like, you know, his shine. But Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. It was pretty funny.
So Stephanie says, I would sing that to my mom all the time. She got so annoyed. I don't even know how old I was. And then Felix says, because he was Caucasian. And I think it's because I... And then Felix also says, they love other people's culture until, well, you know.
Yeah, until they have to experience it.
Yeah, well, you know, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, we're going to put a pin in that and circle back around to that.
So that actually brings us to our number one spot for the night.
And what do we got for number one?
We are right on schedule tonight. I'm very proud of us because
right on time.
Our ability to go overtime really blew my mind.
We'd just be plowing through that 9:30 mark. Like,
so,
no respect.
If you don't know what our number one spot goes to for top 5 summer songs, come on, fam. You have to know that the number one spot goes to Summertime by Will Smith featuring Jazzy Jeff.
Oh my God. If this wasn't your favorite summertime song of all time, then you need to go realign yourself. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. This
you need to go see a spiritual guy, like I said in a previous live.
Yeah, I've said that multiple times before. You need to go realign yourself. But, like, come on. Summertime?
Summertime. Gotta sit back and unwind.
Like,
and Stephanie says, thank you. I was waiting for this. We made it the number one because honestly, there has never been, and I don't think there will ever be, a song better than Will Smith's Summertime when it comes to a summertime song. That song is the epitome of what the fuck summertime is. He could potentially update that song. Imagine if Will Smith was to redo that song and just add new features, because he talks about things that you would do in the summertime a couple decades ago.
Yeah.
So imagine if he was just to redo Summertime and just redo the rap on the same beat, but just add things that people do now in the summertime.
That's not a bad idea.
Ooh,
I'm actually feeling
Will
that.
Smith. You heard it here on our live.
We're going to have to add him on this because
update Summertime and just use the same beat, same vibe. Just make the lyrics reflect the current time. I think that shit would be fire.
I agree. 100%.
And Gina says because he hits all the points. And I would agree that he does hit all the points. But if you listen to it now, as much as it's still relevant, I feel like it's still relevant to a lot of people our age or people just like, you know, maybe a decade younger than us. It's still very relevant to them because he is talking about things that we did during the summertime. Right. Where I feel like the younger generations now are not necessarily doing those same things.
What if Jaden did a Summertime?
Holy shit.
Yo. We have just lost cabin pressure.
We have just lost motherfucking cabin pressure. Evo just said, what if his son Jaden Smith redid Summertime and did a new version of it? Oh my God. Evo, I'm
I'm actually kind of blown away that they haven't thought about that. At least,
you
know what?
I'm honestly,
we have to add him on that.
Jaden Smith. If I know you're not listening to this, I'm going to make sure that you find this somehow. I need for you to redo or remake your father's Summertime song for the new generation.
It would have been great on his last album. That was that vibe on that album.
Yo, and Mr. Jones, welcome to the stream. He says that was my song. The temperature about 88 and you just finished wiping down your car. Yeah. Exactly. And then Gina says, yes, Evo. Evo getting some loving tonight.
Go ahead, drink up, baby. We're gonna go back.
I am honestly, Evo, that is probably the best fucking idea you've had in the last couple years when it comes to like.
I mean, that definitely takes the cake because I can honestly, if we're talking about taking the song, using the beat, putting new lyrics on, and making it about current summertime,
Jaden would be amazing for that.
I just don't think Will could. I don't think Will could really hit that mark the way Jaden could.
I'm excited. And I'm just going to say this. I'm going to tell you why I'm excited, because there have been a couple things on this live that we have said that have actually have come to fruition.
Yeah.
Like I said at the top of the hour. Okay, I said at the top of the hour that I had said on this live that I wanted J-Lo and Ben Affleck to be back together. Well, actually, that's not what I said. I said I wanted J-Lo to holler at Ben Affleck. And then next thing you know, Ben Affleck getting cars to J-Lo's house, and then they vacationing together in Montana. Shit is real. We are going to put this out in the
we need this
ether.
to happen.
Jaden Smith, we need for you to redo your dad's song "Summertime" for the new generation, especially after the pandemic that this younger generation had to go through. They basically lost a summer. I have friends that are in their young 20s that an entire summer for them was wiped out. Like, I have a friend, her and Felix, you know who I'm talking about, and you included, where she basically was like, I just can't wait to be a young 20-year-old again. Like, I want to go out and hang out with my friends.
And if not, if not something that is worked on and released right away, then definitely a project that's worked on and saved, right? For once this whole downturn of society has been put behind us and things are kind of like back in just a normal, beautiful type of way, like it was back when Summertime was released.
Yeah.
Get something in the workings. Like, work it, make it, put it on the shelf, and wait for the right time to put it out. Yes.
Rub it, smack it down.
And wait for the right summer to put this out. And I'm telling you, oh man, I would love.
I'm excited. And honestly, that is the perfect way to wrap up this night.
Yeah, it wouldn't have never happened had you not put this top 5 together. And
that is the beauty of live streaming. I'm actually really excited for that, Evo. I really want this to happen. I don't know what we're gonna have to do.
I'm gonna have to add him.
I'm gonna have to spam the hell out of Jaden Smith.
That's the only thing we can do. I mean, I can't imagine that he would think that that's a bad idea.
That
they would think that that's a bad idea.
I will say this. Jaden Smith did come out with a song with his sister called PCH Cruisin'. Yeah. Which is a vibe and a half when it comes to Summertime. That I think I wouldn't say it's equivalent to Summertime, but it has a strong. It literally talks about cruising down the highway during the summertime, like on the coast in California. So it has that summertime vibe.
It's a tall order, because
I'm so Evo.
It's a great idea, but at the same time, you have to think about it in Jaden's from Jaden's point of view. It's a tall order. That's a great song.
Yes.
And so he would have to come out with something that is. It has to be either just as good or even better.
So Gina says, fingers crossed, unicorns and all that shit. That shit in a bag of chips.
Bonbons and all that good stuff.
Okay, so that actually brings us to the end of our live. I'm like on a high right now. Like I still want to hang out with everybody, but we need to, we've been on for an hour and a half, and we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight.
As always, we appreciate every single one of you who take the time to show up. Please. Well, it looks like they all definitely went in there.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, please go ahead and like that. Wow, and then Mr. Jones is saying the song is ageless. I would 100% agree.
Yeah, it's a timeless classic.
If you haven't already, please go ahead and like and hit the like button before you leave our stream for tonight. We appreciate everybody that joined us tonight and everybody that joins us every week. So next Friday, we will actually not be live, but we will have a show for you. We will have a pre-recorded session. I will actually be away, so we won't be able to live stream, but we will do a pre-recorded session, and we welcome you to please still come in and join us and comment, because we would still love that interaction, and then that can maybe lead to a conversation the following week, which is Memorial Day weekend, which we will be here for you that Friday. But with that being said, thank you so much for joining us. Until next Friday, peace out.